we can say. So something here we can say it will become your final production here. So after you have developed your concept note just some part that will guide you toward your research proposal. And whenever you got your research proposal, you will be able to write your complete research report in here, right? So all this part, it will guide you some more content, some more outline for fully completing your research report. It's not a magic one, but can be successful or not. It just depends on your commitment and your momentum toward it. We can say it's just hard, but if you try, you will be able to do it, right? So here there are something here that we want to talk about. The first one just about writing a research report, developing an outline. Yeah, you need to develop your outline for your research report here. Writing about a variable. So what are the variables that you included in your paper? And number 4, a different referencing system. Yeah, like what we have discussed last week, that we have discussed about APA style. Yeah, writing that yeah, we have discussed so far that so most of the research report in Cambodia, most of universities currently they just follow APA style referencing. Yeah, like in American Psychology Association, yeah, referencing style here, right? And number 5, we will discuss about how to write a bibliography, right? Like yeah, something that provides some reference as well. Yeah, and one last should be about Q&A session in here, right? Okay, let's just move and we can discuss more regarding to that part if you have some question or some part. So we can say like here, writing a research report, each of the last step in research process is writing a report to communicate the finding of the study. Yeah, we can say, yeah, as you have learned from formulating your research topic, yeah, formulating things that that you have formulating the statement of the problem, attitude, and so on. So other part that we can say, yeah, formulate this statement of problem, formulating the research attitude, research question. Yeah, you just reviewing the literature review as well as setting the research methodology, data collecting method. Yeah, as well as the tool for data collection. Yeah. So this part we will show and transfer all those things into this part to write and to show or present the finding of the study to the public, we can say. So you can show your finding, your study by writing a research report in here. So yeah, the people will learn about the finding, okay, whether it just has how important the significance of the findings through the research report. All right. And the second one, we can say the report is what will be read by others. We can say, yeah, it will not just read only by the researcher themselves, but will be it will be read by others. It can be, yeah, other scholar, teacher, student, or we can say like the public. They will read your report in here. Yeah, and we can say some report. Okay, it might be great for some social development or country development as well. You can say like based on the finding that they got it from scientific data collection. yeah, they can come up with some best practice or some solution to change those parts. Yeah. Okay, and research report, it must be clear and logical. Yeah, you can see there's some part that can show about something clearly, and it might be reasonable toward the interpretation. So yeah, you can say it can open an eye for from the public, can open their eye toward what we got it from the data collection, okay, and the finding will show them the way toward what is the problem. Okay, it's not the opinion, but it's just scientific result. You can say accurate and concise. There is something right and something short and important for that part. You can say, yeah. So we can say like a researcher must have their own ethical consideration. They must be honest about the finding. You can say even those the thing is just go to bad, but they dare to say something the truth within the part. So the ethical or researcher cannot be lie, cannot telling lie in the research report. So what is being responded by the participant, they must report it directly in their report writing. So that's why we can say in this part, in some research title for foreigner, they prefer not to mention the institution name. For example, like if you want to conduct research in any private institution or business private institution, you also need to be careful. It's not so we can say whenever the finding is just not really good, it might be harmful or affected on their business and so on. So you may not be able to interpret or writing something obviously based on the part, and it might lead to be bias in that part as well. All right. So this is some part. So it must be accurate and must be concise. Yeah. Yeah. Something is right, short, and importantly expressed in the report. One last point here: developing a semantic draft outline. You can see, yeah. So at least some part that can grasp some outline in the part that show about what other things that can be implement, what is other thing that can be developed or changed some part from the finding of the research report here. All right. Can move to the next part. Developing an outline, because like to write your research report effectively, you need to develop an outline for writing that part. You can say the first one, dividing the report in different chapters. You can say, yeah, there should be 5 or 6 chapters. It should depend on some guideline from yes, some university or some places. They prefer only 5 chapters, that including with introduction chapter, literature review. It can be methodology in chapter 3. Chapter 4 is just about some part about finding and discussion, right? And the 5th chapter is just about conclusion and recommendation there. So only 5. And the other they may separate the conclusion. We can say like separate discussion and recommendation are differently. Okay. Okay. So there are 6 chapters and so on. Okay. We can say like some they may conclude with a discussion and conclusion and recommendation together, or some they may separate it there. Yeah, only the chapter 6 only discuss about only conclusion and recommendation. Yeah, some part of the separated there. So yeah, there are between 6 or 5 chapters there. It depends. And the second part explaining what goes into a chapter. Yeah. So you may know about the nature of research, But chapter 1 normally including with some background of the study, statement of problem, research attitude, research question, or optionally with research hypothesis. Okay, or other part they may include with some scope and limitation, and research significant as well as the operational key term that we need to include in chapter 1 there. Yeah, chapter 2 normally they discuss and review about research finding, or we can say like prior research finding or theory about the research topic there. We can say like chapter 2, there is no clear guideline or outline there, but it will be guideline, will be given the subtitle based on the research topic or statement of problem as well as the research attitude or research question. So they can build the subtitle in chapter 2 there. Then chapter 3 you may see about they may come up with research methodology, data collection method, pilot study, as well as the research ethical consideration, as well as some data interpretation, and so on in that part. And then as you move to chapter 4, normally they just based on about the finding, the finding. So the finding, it should be defined based on the research question. They may structure the subtitle based on research question or research attitude. And then they can come up with some subtitle there. And also discussion, because like normally research in discussion chapter, the outline or the subtitle of chapter 5, it must be consistent with what is present in chapter 4 about the finding here. In this part, we can say they will try to interpret the finding, and they will try to discuss with the existing literature review that have been done in chapter 2 to compare whether the finding is just consistent or inconsistent to any researcher, any finding or discussion so far. Okay, and one last we can say it can be about conclusion and discussion chapter that they can conclude about the finding. They can suggest or provide a recommendation toward the finding, or we can say like there are two parts for recommendation. The first one is just about implicator study. Then they can suggest, they can suggest to the practitioner, like it can be like the concerned stakeholder. If they conducted in a school, it should be the school director, or it can be the ministry that they has some authority on the school implementation there. So they can, we can say like, they can suggest to the part to propose some change to be more effective on a particular issue that they found in the research finding here. Another part, they can provide suggestion to the stakeholder beside that part. It can be, for example, like if the research including with concern with the teacher and student, they also need to provide some suggestion about that part to implement one particular teaching method or thing effectively. They can suggest that. And the other part, they just focus on the future recommendation or future study for that part. So this part, we can say they just discuss about some part refer to their limitation of the study, that they we can say like whenever one research cannot be covered all, they need to suggest for further study. It should be Yeah, for example, like if this paper is just talking about quantitative, so they may request the researcher to conduct the same topic, but using qualitative study teaching method, research methodology here, you have to find out what are the different perspectives from that time. Yeah. Okay, so these are the things that briefly talk about what are the things that can go through a chapter there. Yeah, so from chapter 1 to chapter 6, you may see about what are the things in the next slide. We can see a year toward the study and its aptitude. Right? We can say, yeah, we can say just try to align the title or the statement of the problem toward the aptitude. So, what are the things that you want to find out? You can say toward that part, just try to show things that really respond to the main objective of the research or the study in here. So what are they? We can say this research objective here, it does navigate it or just direct the finding toward it. Yeah, we can say whenever you can have the clear research objective, it will guide or produce the finding toward that one directly. Yeah. Yeah, we will not spend longer time, but save time and make it finding to be precise and concise about a particular research aptitude. Yeah, one more about chapter titles to reflect its content. Yeah. Yeah, so we can say like what I have taught recently from chapter to chapter, it just does reflect on that part. Like you must know about a chapter, what are the things should be included there. Yeah, like in chapter 1 introduction, yeah, maybe you just chapter 1 we can say like normally people think it's easy, it's just the introduction, but really importantly we can say if you formulate chapter 1 effectively and carefully enough, yeah, the finding will be more concise and precise about that part, since it's just like the heading, and chapter 2 will try to respond to chapter 1. Yeah, even chapter 3 also respond to chapter 2 as well. Yeah, it just try to answer a link or well connected from one to another in here, we can say, right? Okay, next one, the content and methodology on each project is different. Yeah, for sure, we can say, yeah, it just depends on the nature of your topic. It depends on the nature of the research aptitude and research question that you have set. We can say like it will provide you toward the yeah, whether it can be used with quantitative or qualitative study, for example. Yeah, so it really different from one another. We cannot determine whether you want to do with this with that, but you can also look at the nature of your research topic or research aptitude or research question there. All right. Yes, some research aptitude, it does show you directly whether your study is refer to quantitative or qualitative study. Yeah. Okay. How will finding be communicated? Yeah. This is the thing that you can find out. We can say like there should be something in your discussion part. Yeah, that you can discuss about your finding with the existing finding or theory that have conducted by other researchers there. All right, so you can discuss it about that part. Okay, so I will move first, and if you have some questions, we can discuss later. So here are the structure of a report outline. Okay, most common method to accurately and effectively present analyze data. Yeah, you can see some part there. You can see, yes, it will follow the nature or the structure of that path. You can see like most of the research are not different from one another, even though you are in any guideline or any university or institution, but they may have the common method or accurate way that they can show that we can see like not completely different there. It should include with introduction and rationale for the study. Yeah, it should be briefly tell you about some background, some objective of the study. We can say, yeah. Yeah, literature review should be in chapter 2, right? Objective of the study. Yeah, it should be in chapter 1. Yeah, methodology it should be in chapter 3, right? Yeah, whether you can decide whether it should be used qualitative, quantitative, or even mixed methods. What are the data, or we can say like sampling methods, data collection method, it should be included in here. Finding and discussion, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, some they may include it together, some they may separate between finding and discussion. They should be in two different chapters or together. It depends on the part. Yeah, it also have some problem and limitation there. Yeah, you can say, okay, limitation, it should be like a scope. We can say some part, if you do not show about limitation, means your topic or your finding really too broad to do in here. So some limitation means you just try to scope or narrow down the study to be better there. All right. Yeah, and problem here, they refer to what? Refer to like a statement of problem. And normally we just try to conduct research to solve the research our statement of problem. Yeah, one last normally it's just about conclusion and possible explanation or recommendation. Yeah, it's just one last chapter. So no matter whatever you have done for any university, any school, they outline something including with some part. All right, it cannot be go far away from the path, right? Okay. So Richard moved to this part is about writing about a variable. So why is it important to study the variable? Yeah, this is one question. This is about providing a rationale for studying the variable. Yeah, it's just some part that you show about how important, how they provide the aptitude for the study of that variable. Yeah, one just affect or one just related to the other one. In the case of across tabulation, what relationship how other study found between the variables that will be analyzed? This is where the literature review is integrated into the finding of the study. Yeah, of course. We can see, yeah, just try to compare between like what you have found in the study and what other found in your study as well. So you can compare between the relationship between the part to the existing finding there. Okay, what is the expected outcome between the two variables? Like stating a hypothesis. Yeah, we just want to find out whether correlation or even cause and effect of the two or more variables in here. Yeah, we also can study in that part. Okay, what has the study found out? Reporting result, for example, like as table, graph of text in here. Yeah, in the part, yeah, they may show in like what we have studied in last chapter, just about data displaying. Yeah, they just report the result in table or graph or even text, like what we have discussed last week, right? Yes. So just present it in there. Yeah. And it's just relevant to the finding of each variable as well. Just showing table, graph, or even text in here. Other part we can say what does the data show, interpreting the finding for the analysis. Yeah, about data displaying. Yeah, and then we can say you also need to interpret it. Okay, as you analyze, you need to interpret it. What does it mean when the data actually show like that based on standard deviation, mean mode, or even inference show that a statistic like t-test or even correlation? Yeah, you need to interpret it. What does it mean? Okay. Okay. What conclusions can be drawn? How do the conclusions drawn from the study compare with those from a similar study in the past? Does the study support or contradict them? Link result to existing review. Yeah, this part we can say like you draw conclusion based on the thing that you can compare. You can say you can conclude it by drawing the finding of your study to compare what to those similar study in the past again, and then you can interpret so why it is the same or why it is the different. What are the result and the reason of the result, we can say. But the support study support or contradict to them here, we can say like whether it is consistent or inconsistent to those findings, we can say. You just link from the part, right? And one last, what explanation can be provided for the finding of the study? What explanation can be provided for the finding of the study? We can say like that you can link result to existing theory. Yeah, just similar to this part as well, but it can be linked some part about the existing theory. Some theory or principle can be applied, and you can see how effective it is in some situation or in some problem to be solved here, right? Yeah. I will move. Okay, so when we're talking about referencing or reference list, okay, there are different referencing system in here. We can say adapting a reference style that is used in the field or area of investing for research reports. Normally, they just have their preferred field or some part in study. We can say like for education, they may have some particular reference style for them. Some that talking about nursing or medical, they may have a particular referencing style. But in Cambodia, we just prefer what? We prefer one particular, just about ABA style and so on here. So in here we can see like there are different academic style of referencing. This was one like a short title system, or yeah, they just write down only the title. Okay, and the other part we also that system like Harvard system here, or the reference by number system. Yeah, one cover system. Yeah, but those things I have never known it as well. But you also can explore, right? And the author's number system. Yeah, just use the author and the years and so on the department. Yeah, we can see. So in here, you're writing a bibliography, right? Preferencing according to the discipline or university. Yeah, we can say it depends on discipline or university. Yeah, whether they prefer you to Harvard system, prefer you to American Psychological Association system. Yeah, like this one we call like APA here, right? Yeah. And American Medical Association system, McGraw-Hill system, McGraw-Hill the publication. They also have their own bibliographic graphy system in here. A modern language association system like MLA here. and footnote system. So which one? Mostly we can say like in Cambodia currently they use this one, like we call like APA style, yeah, like what we have discussed last week, and a footnote system normally mostly that they are using, right? The rest not really there. It's fine. Maybe you can study more about this part. You can see about APA here, like what we have discussed last week so far. And footnote is just something that you can see. They put the number and some note underneath all the text there. You will see like number one refer to one, number two, yeah, and so on. So they refer to some part there. So in conclusion, we can say the research report communicates the finding of the research study. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it just the final product, the thing that you can write down and show the public about the finding of your study. Qualitative report are written using descriptive and narrative style. And normally we can say not with the number, but they can describe, they can narrate or retell something about what they have found from the interview or even from observation there. Quantitative reports are written in a descriptive and analytical format. All right. Yeah, they can describe, they can use something based on the data that they can analyze and interpret the finding there. So both of them are clearly and consistently, concisely written. You can say, yeah, it must be clear. It must be concise, mean like straight to the point. And what does it mean? You can say whenever the finding is just include some part, and then they can interpret and tell, okay, what are the reasons for that part. Okay, so that's it. And if you have some question, we can discuss more about this part, right? So through this part, we can say, I strongly believe, we can say, after we finish this part, and after you have completed your concept note, research concept note here, you will be able to complete. If you keep moving, if you keep moving on, you will be able to complete your research proposal there. You can say keep moving on. Yeah, by some part research proposal, some part it's just about yeah, even 15 or even 17 pages is just enough for that part. Okay, so and after you have developed your research proposal clearly and carefully, you will be able to collect your data based on that part. Yeah, more and more you will be moved to this part of research report in here. All right, so to produce about about 50 or 60 pages there just enough for your research report. Okay, so something here, but you must work consistently toward that, right? You can say like if you stop, you cannot reach there. We know it's hard, but yeah, in the process of learning, keep reading, keep watching or even reviewing some part, you will be able to get there. Yeah, that's why we can say like since research is not easy, that's why the world they value more about research. All right, they value a lot about research. So before they have written 15 or 17 pages of this their research paper, they devote their time a lot. Maybe at least they spend about 3 or 4 months just complete that 17 or 15 pages there for you to read. So devote a lot. Yeah, not about their opinion, but about what they devote their time to read, what they devote their time to survey, to get the information or data from the participant there that they can conclude. And one more thing, they also need to use your comprehensive or critical interpretation you have to show about the finding, try to explain, try to integrate their finding with, or just compare. You can say like just compare the finding to the existing finding or existing theory, so they can come up with the comprehensive conclusion as well as implicate for applying something, a particular problem more effectively there. You can see based on their finding, and they can suggest that. Okay, so if you have a question, please. I know, yeah.
Teacher, excuse me. Chị Thom mà đã report nhưng trao từ Cประมาณ từ lập đấy teacher.
តើតើនឹង report វាអាស្រ័យទៅលើតម្រូវការរបស់ខាងសាកលវិទ្យាល័យដែរតែក៏បើ report ដែលនេះវាមិនជាច្រើនទេវាអាចទៅបានច្រើនបំផុតតែ60ទំព័រអញ្ចឹងណាបាទបើយើងដក reference appendix អីចឹងវាលំបាកត្រឹមតែ30ទៅ40ទំព័រប៉ុណ្ណឹងអញ្ចឹងណាបាទយើងច្រើនយើងប្រើច្រើនតែទៅ reference list យើងប្រើច្រើនគឺទទួលស្គាល់ថាជួនកាលក៏ចំណាយលើ reference link ជាង10ទំព័របាត់ទៅហើយសម្រាប់ report មួយណាបាទភាសាយើងអាចបានថាសឹងតែគ្រប់ line ត្រូវការ reference អញ្ចឹងយើងប្រើកំណត់យើងបានតិចផុតក្នុង research ណាបាទយើងបង្កើតអត់ត្រូវការ reference មានតែអីដូចជាresearch objective research question research hypothesis significant of the study និងយើងអត់ត្រូវការនឹងresearch ethical consideration យើងអត់ត្រូវការ reference នេះហ្នឹងបាទអូខេអញ្ចឹងក្នុងហ្នឹងមានថាចឹងហើយបានគេឲ្យ value លើការសរសេរនឹងច្រើនថាគ្រប់ line សឹងតែគ្រប់ line ត្រូវការ reference អញ្ចឹងណាបានថា writing from reading it's just not just writing from your own opinion here and then start writing ចឹងសរសេរចេញពីការអានយើងត្រូវយករបស់គេមកហើយត្រូវអង្គុយ paraphrase ត្រូវអង្គុយsummarize it បាទ ឬក៏ direct quotation ហ្នឹងដើម្បីមកបង្ហាញអញ្ចឹងណាអញ្ចឹងហើយបានវាមាន value លើហ្នឹងអូខេអញ្ចឹងខ្លីប៉ុណ្ណឹងមកថាវាអាចនៅចន្លោះពី30ទៅ40ទំព័រសាច់លើសាច់ research និង research report ហ្នឹងណាបាទនឹងយើង include acknowledgement យើង include ទៅលើ reference list ឬក៏ appendix ផ្សេងៗយើងបដោតទៅលើតែ chapter 1 រហូតដល់ chapter 6 អីចឹងណាបាទតែក៏វាអាស្រ័យនៅលើតាមស្ថាប័នគេកំណត់គេចង់បានតែក៏ពាក្យថា research report វាខ្លីជា CCC ណាបើយើងទៅ CCC វែងអញ្ចឹងណា research report ខ្លីនេះទៅខ្លីមានសំណួរផ្សេងទៀតទេក្នុងនេះយើងអាចចាំចេះបានដែរមិនថា research ហ្នឹងគេមាន guideline បែបនេះតែក៏ក្នុងន័យនេះមិនថាទោះបីគេត្រឡប់ទៅលឹងមិនក៏ដោយគេរៀបចំដោយវាខុសគ្នាក៏ដោយពីមកសាកលវិទ្យាល័យទៅសាកលវិទ្យាល័យមួយផ្សេងទៀតវាអាចខុសគ្នាប៉ុន្តែក្នុងហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវចាំថាវាលំនាំតែគ្នាទេមិនថាវាអត់កិច្ចផុតពី5 6 chapter ហ្នឹងទេឬក៏ខ្លឹមសារនៅក្នុង outline ណាចឹងអត់ខុសគ្នាទេណាមិនថាវាលំនាំតែមួយទេវាអត់អាចវាត្រូវតែមាន research objective វាត្រូវតែមាន research question វាត្រូវតែមានstatement of problem ត្រូវមាន literature review មាន scope and limitation ក្នុងន័យនេះជុំវិញន័យនឹងដូចគ្នាគាត់ថាស្កលខ្លះគេបដូរលំដាប់ដោយវាធ្វើអញ្ចឹងណាបាទនឹងវាអាស្រ័យតែជាធម្មតាគឺវាអត់ផ្សេងគ្នាទេណាវាដូចគ្នាណាបាទលំនាំតែមួយនិយាយចាំអរគុណមានអីចង់ទៅចែកបន្ថែមបាទអញ្ជើញបាទសារនេះវាជា final product តែមិនថាយើងរៀនតាំងពីដើមមកដល់នេះគឺយើងអាច develop បានជា research report មួយណាបាទ Okay, I will show you the example of research report here, right? Okay, you will see from this website.
Yeah, I could see, teacher, but it's a little bit small, teacher.
Yeah. I'll need something here. So normally it just come up with the cover page or the side title page. So this topic just about what? About strand cycling or hot nichrome wire approach to prolong the light of plastic foam cutters, for example, it's just something. Yeah, by the Hart. Yeah, in 1995. Yeah, just apply for something here. Yeah, they normally have the abstract. Yeah, abstract here you can see like it's something that is at the beginning of the page or at the beginning of the research finding, but it's something that they have written the last one. You can say written it has been written at the last one. You can say as everything completed, and then the abstract can be written. Right. So normally short one, it can be half of the page or one full page only, right? Not really long there. So they come up with abstract. Yeah, they come up with table of contents. Yeah, it can be list down something here. Okay. So we show everything here. Even normally we just have abstract, which have list of figure or a list of table, right? Or even somebody in some your assignment it might be with acknowledgement or authorship, and so on. Yeah, and then come up with something that to be included in there. And other part is just about theoretical condition fatigue. Yeah, and something it's just a really technical one, but you just see only the finding here. Yeah, about experimental procedure. Yes, in this part, just conduct like experiment, result of the nichrome wire strand test, discussion and conclusion. There are 6 part here. Yeah, here list of figure. Yeah, if there are many different figures, we can include that. This one is the page number. Right? You can go through. So we can start here. We can say. So this part is taken with the research title, and this part is just introductory section. Offer motivation and identify a problem and set our issue. Yeah, it's just some part. They start with some particular problem here. Yeah, this figure common micron. Okay, and initiate line drawing have orient the reader quickly and identify critical part of the wire cutter under discussion. They just show some figure here. The problem is discussed in the greater detail. You can say we just raise up something here. Yeah, they keep noting and you can read it here. You can understand more. Okay, here they just quote series section, right? Okay, and what are related to the issue here. See? Yeah, experimental procedure, which try to show up that part. How can they conduct the experiment here? Okay, here about part number 4, chapter 4, just focus on the result of the experiment 4. Here, in the result section, the writer presents data and provide additional information about how the data are displayed. This section does not interpret the data. A critical concern is that are devising an effective graphical design for displaying the data. Again, like something only displaying data, whether it's showing graph in graphs or it's show in the table there, we can see, right? So just keep thinking about data displaying, like what we have discussed last week. Yeah, and then this part we start to discuss. We can see like the discussion section is given to interpreting the result in way that focus on the problem and issue raised in the introduction part. Yeah, so yeah, they just raise up something that link in chapter 1. Yeah, it might be try to respond to the research question or research problem. Research two, but all of them will imply to the research statement of the problem there, right? Yeah, so they will start discuss something. Okay, and then conclusion. The conclusion section with the result and their implication. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, implication like what can be applied to improve the situation there, and state the main outcome of the research. Yeah, just really try to explain or respond to the main outcome of the research study here, right? Okay, so here actually are some part of the example of this topic. I will drop this one to the group. Everyone can click on the link and can see it as well. Okay, so from this example, any question? Okay, so any question about this part? Hello?
Yeah, teacher.
Yeah. So any problem?
No, teacher. I am here with you, teacher.
Yeah, you are here with me, and anything that you want to clarify?
Why poem just a pug man and man.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. ចឹងមិនន័យថាយើងធ្វើ research យើងត្រូវ say វាមិនថាការយើងចាប់ដើមធ្វើ concept note យើងចាប់ដើមធ្វើជា research proposal ហ្នឹងវាជាដំណើរការមួយវាពាក់កណ្ដាលផ្លូវវាណាតែនៅពេលដែលយើងធ្វើដល់ data collection ដល់ interpretation ហ្នឹងយើងត្រូវធ្វើការថែមមួយទៀតថាកម្រិតមួយវាពិបាកហើយបើយើងចាប់ដើមបង្ហាញពីលទ្ធផលហ្នឹងមិនថានៅក្នុងនោះនៅលើភាពប៉ិនប្រសប់របស់យើងដែរបាទតើយើងប្រមូលទិន្នន័យនេះបានបែបម៉េចហើយការបកស្រាយទិន្នន័យបែបម៉េចបាទទីថាយើងសម្ភាសណាបើយើងសម្ភាសទៅដែលយើងធ្វើតកតងនឹងការសិក្សាពាក់ព័ន្ធទៅនឹងមុខម្ហូបឧទាហរណ៍ណាបាទស្រាប់តែយើងមើលទៅមានអ្នកចូលរួមម្នាក់គាត់និយាយថាអូនៅភោជនីយដ្ឋានហ្នឹងគឺកាទៀវហ្នឹងឆ្ងាញ់ជាងគេបាទមិនថាកាទៀវហ្នឹងគឺឆ្ងាញ់ជាងគេអញ្ចឹងឆ្ងាញ់ជាងគេយើងគួរបកស្រាយថាម៉េចក្នុងន័យហ្នឹងករណីថាយើងអត់បានសួរគាត់បន្ថែមទេពេលយើងពិភាក្សាអញ្ចឹងយើងបកស្រាយថាម៉េចចឹងការបកស្រាយអាចមានពីរប្រភេទអញ្ចឹងណាបើកាលណាគាត់និយាយថាអូកាទៀវនៅហាងឆ្ងាញ់ជាងគេអញ្ចឹងវាអាចថាក្នុងហាងហ្នឹងបើថាកាទៀវនោះគឺឆ្ងាញ់តែគេនៅក្នុងតំបន់ឬនៅក្នុងទីក្រុងភ្នំពេញហ្នឹងគឺកាទៀវគាត់ហ្នឹងឆ្ងាញ់តែគេនៅទី1បាទនៅទី2វាអាចថានៅហាងរបស់គាត់ហ្នឹង không chừng nào một mà hộp từng ớt nứng xây cái nhằm cả đây mình là cái tiêu mới nhằm nó chèn gì kì chẳng bài lời muôn bài sổ bài phải chụp ấy nhằm ăn cá đi tao nhằm mà là cái tiêu nó bị chèn gì kì chẳng ấy chẳng ca bộ sái mình thay dương tự nhiên ca bộ sái nhìn làm là ngày tham dương mò chứ không đấy mình thay vì cái nào vì miền này ấp chế bá dương tự ta tham hay dương tự nhiên ca bộ sái miền ca son than luôn là mùi chẳng chỉ researcher dương tự ta miền ca bộ sái ở vì bạc lo hái viên nhị dù từ khá mà thể bộ sái chính bà sân chỉ cái lại nên việc đôi từ những finding bọn nè đó tí nhưng cái thằng hai đấy mà việc đôi kia bởi vì mình đối hai đây rồi ai tham mưu là đấy là việc đôi và sân chỉ tất cả này thầy dương phơi ca việc tiếp tục nên cứ stay để bàn lược làng chứ chừng ai lược làng muốn thằng hạt đây và đầu tiên là nếu mà dương role research sắp xa về bọn tầm nâng ca integrate technology được mong ca một kỳ và chứ ca integrate technology nâng ca một điến dương ngày tha vì môn covid đọc bổng 4 dương ngày ban tha video bổ sạc nâng ca integrate technology vô nâng nóng ca một điến tại về bạch cho bón thì ai tha finding nâng rô tới vì miền đó là vì mình bỏ bạc đọc là vì thường bạn định muốn này thì khó mà chứ những ai bỏ slide tham mình này chúng ta phải những mọi thứ là researcher muốn cái rồi khơi tham bỏ bạc và bây giờ rồi khơi tham vì lấy sao bỏ bạc sao cứu hiện family cho môi năng gì chẳng mấy ai trongประชุม online trong thời ca online như phương bàn đôi lại dừng những dừng chập tạp xô mày và vì muốn dư bỏ bạc châu muốn bỏ bạc và riêng ra và vì bài chấm như thế gọi là tập lệ link trong đầu link vì Google meeting xuống của bán đâu vì zoom tôi chia FC nhất của bán và sang là áp chạm mày inform muốn người gì ngay từ bàn này tại vì muốn nâng covid nâng máu và dư của bạn xong bây giờ xuống của bạn ra mình tên và trong nộp test vừa cả online có người côn riêng cho các rút mà xùa vậy thế này ta lấy và cho ban bản thì đọc sẽ thương kỳ bàn nhé và nó là chỉ bạn bằng về việc học này chắc như thực cả bộ style hay đây bạn đang việc học này vì từ đây bạn được làm rồi cô từ lời finding để bạn được làm hồ hai này chắc non research đến dương thời tự nhiên cá và vô cả bộ style và time và hạt ấy bởi vì đối hạt ấy vì mình đối hạt ấy thì những cả bị vô chẳng và nó là chỉ role chỉ tuần tí mỗi bó researcher này để thử thưa lưỡi nâng nhé và ok cần chờ mà mình đi bật hàng tiếp đấy
dạ cô chẳng để đang bật hiện bạn môi nó dừng mưa tăng bị pro hay là còn một về chẳng cô
bài dừng mưa vì chúng ta chúng ta bật hiện là bạn sự biếnนี้vì ai tham gia các hoạt động tới fail các hoạt động tới ban chịu trì và các hoạt động thôi tới việc nhiều sự kiện này chứ những ai sắp xa bị đàm hay recall thảo và lời nơi bật đi cảm chí những thứ đất ban phần này là vì dừng mưa từ láo tôi tất cả toàn bá này tôi sai bà bọt bò láo và ta nhung chụp thì mỗi nâng khai ở này vô là mua để trong một cái từ lại nó mấy cái thang này nó thì sao đấy thì toàn bàn trà thì tôi nhận là chơi ông lễ đó biết là su bên của mình nét anh em mình nét xây mua cái đại vật màu ngày muốn hack là thái chơi ông lễ sao có tiền người khéo người chẳng á và ta mình không phải là bọt lao lên đó thứ học viên để chơi sao thì trên ca đại bảo tứcคือทางตรงca đã integrate từชื่อสลาดินจีนอนเพลย์เนี่ยก็อีกประมาณได้มีปัญหาเชิงสักครู่ตอนเช็คที่สามthìลิงก์ជាមួយនឹងផ្សាយវិទ្យាគឺបើមិនគឺយើងត្រូវការប្រើភាសាអង់គ្លេសនឹងច្រើនអញ្ចឹងណាបាទអញ្ចឹងវាក៏អត់ចេះអញ្ចឹងវាអាចជាឧបសគ្គមួយសម្រាប់ពួកគាត់ហើយចង់ invite expert អីមកក៏បាទត្រូវការប្រើភាសាអង់គ្លេសច្រើនតែក៏បើយើង invite expert មកត្រែនវាមិនពិបាកយើងអាចបកប្រែយើងអីចឹងណាបាទតែគាត់ថាឲ្យវា independent វាពិបាកតិចចឹងក្នុងជាឧបសគ្គអូខេចឹងក្នុងន័យបែបហ្នឹងហើយយើងត្រូវតែបង្ហាញពី pros and cons ហើយយើងត្រូវតែពិភាក្សាទៅលើចំណុចហ្នឹងបាទបើវាដូចហេតុអីបើវាដូចហេតុអីយើងត្រូវទាំងអស់បាទអរគុណណាបើមានអីផ្សេងទៀត
បាទអធិស្ឋានលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំមានមួយទៀតដែរអត់ដឹងថាមេរៀននៅក្នុងសភៅយើងបានបច្ចេកឬក៏ខ្ញុំចូលអត់ទាន់ទេ
បាទ
តែតោះតែខ្ញុំធ្លាប់មើលអាសភៅដែល report research មិញដែរប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំមើលពីរទៅសូមមើលរបស់គេទៅវារៀងផ្សេងគ្នាគ្រូតឹងតើយើងអាចចងក្រងបានមួយទៀតឧទាហរណ៍ថា report research ហ្នឹងឧទាហរណ៍ថាទំព័រទី1និយាយពីអីទំព័រទី2និយាយពីអីទី3និយាយពីអីរហូតទៅដល់ចប់អញ្ចឹងគ្រូតែខ្ញុំសាកមើលពីរទៅដូចរៀងខុសគ្នាឬមកក៏ប្រភេទ research ផ្សេងគ្នាគ្រូណា
អរគុណលោកគ្រូបាទអាហ្នឹងវាអាស្រ័យទៅលើ guideline របស់សាលាទី1ណាមិនថាទោះបីជាវាបញ្ច្រាស់បដៅគ្នាមិនក៏ដោយក៏វាអត់កិច្ចផុតគ្នាដែរលោកគ្រូដល់មិនថាក្នុងនោះទោះបីគេត្រឡប់ចុះត្រឡប់ឡើងមិនក៏ដោយក៏វាក្នុងន័យក្នុងបដុំប៉ុណ្ណឹងមិនថាវាអត់កិច្ចផុតពី statement of problem អត់កិច្ចផុតពី research objective research question បាទហើយមាន literature review មាន research methodology បាទ research method ហ្នឹងហើយនឹង sampling method បាទហើយចេញមក finding ហើយនឹង conclusion ហ្នឹងដូចគ្នាអត់ខុសគ្នាទេគាត់ថាវាត្រឡប់មុនក្រោយវាអាស្រ័យទៅលើតម្រូវការជាងណាអាចថាគាត់បោះពុំទៅ journal publication ហ្នឹងគេតម្រូវគាត់ដាក់អញ្ចឹងណាហ្នឹងគេ adjust ទៅតាម standard ឬក៏តម្រូវការដែលគេចង់បានទៅតាមសកលវិទ្យាល័យមួយៗអញ្ចឹងមុនយើងធ្វើយើងអាចពិនិត្យមើលទៅលើ guideline របស់គេជាផ្នែកមួយអញ្ចឹងគ្រប់យ៉ាងនៅក្នុង guideline ណាហើយក៏អត់មានថាមួយណាខុសមួយណាត្រូវដែរសំខាន់គេចង់បានបែបម៉េចប៉ុន្តែលំនាំនេះជា nature គឺវានៅ commonly use ហ្នឹងគឺ keyword key term តែមួយគាត់ថាវាអាចខុស order បាទតោះណាគូដន
បាទតនលោកគ្រូអរគុណច្រើន
បាទនៅ research report ដូចគ្នាតែអាចខុសគ្នាលើហ្នឹងដូចវាមិនខុសគ្នាពី reflection paper ដែលយើងដូចគ្នាតែសាស្ត្រាចារ្យផ្សេងគាត់អាចនឹងប្រើផ្សេងសម្រាប់ខ្ញុំយើងប្រើផ្សេងទៅហ្នឹងវានៅលើ guideline អញ្ចឹងយើងមើល guideline បាទនិយាយត្រូវប្រយ័ត្នដែរបើជំនាន់អ្នកខ្លះធ្លាក់អត់ដឹងខ្លួនឧស្សាហ៍អាសាអានខ្លួនឯងចេះហើយបាទខ្ញុំធ្លាប់បរៀនជួបនិស្សិតចឹងដែរបើពេលទៅបង្រៀនថ្នាក់បញ្ញាបត្រឯងបរៀនគាត់ថាអូគេ no worry about me when I asked him to do presentation or answer some question he said oh I know about English already my English is already good so no need to practice more just let my classmate do it yeah he's good actually we can say his English is good since he may done some level of English class in from ACE but unfortunately he failed with some ongoing assessment like the presentation like somehow he may pass the midterm and final exam his score is really full but he failed assignment so assignment and participation he failed as a result he failed actually right ចឹងអានឹងត្រូវប្រយ័ត្នតែមិនថាទោះបីយើងដឹងយើងចេះដល់តែយើងត្រូវមើលទៅលើគោលការណ៍ណែនាំរបស់គេតើមើលធ្លាក់ហើយពីយើងធ្លាក់បាទអញ្ចឹងគាត់ថាគាត់ចេះអស់ហើយគាត់ថាឲ្យតែមិត្តភក្តិគាត់ឡើងឆ្លើយឡើងពេលសិនទេគាត់អត់ចាំបាច់ទេបាទលទ្ធផលធ្លាក់បន្ទុក midterm final ខ្ពស់ជាងគេណាតែ ongoing assessment ជារឿងមួយគាត់ថាវប្បធម៌បីនេះក្នុងផ្ទះក្នុងថ្នាក់នេះយើងត្រូវដឹងដែរអញ្ចឹងណាបាទអញ្ចឹងជារួមថាយើងត្រូវមើល guideline របស់គេចង់បានអីអញ្ចឹងយើងធ្វើតាម guideline ហ្នឹងអត់ខុសទេណាបាទមិនគ្រប់គ្នាសុទ្ធតែដូចគ្នាណាបាទខលយើងហៅវាអញ្ចឹងតែក៏អាសាច់ក្នុងវាអាចខុសគ្នាបាទមនុស្សឈ្មោះដូចគ្នាតែមិនប្រកាសថា characteristic ដូចគ្នាទេណាអរគុណមានផ្សេងទៀត
ប៉ុន្តែលោកគ្រូខ្ញុំឆ្ងល់មួយកន្លែងនៅក្នុង variable ចាកន្លែងin the case of gross tabulation ហ្នឹងមានន័យថាម៉េចទៅចុះឡើយហ្នឹង
បាទនេះចំណុចបើដែលគ្រូវិជ្ជាសួរថា in case of a gross tabulation what relationship have other study found between the variable that will be analyzed បាទអានេះមានថាក្នុងករណីថាយើងសិក្សាថាយើង review literature review ហើយណានេះបណ្ដានេះជាចម្លើយ this is where literature review is integrated into the finding of the study នៅពេលដែលយើងធ្វើការប្រៀបធៀបបណ្ដាលើលទ្ធផលសិក្សារបស់យើងទៅនឹងលទ្ធផលសិក្សារបស់researcher ផ្សេងៗបាទក្នុងបរិបទផ្សេងៗគ្នាហ្នឹងតើវាបែបម៉េចវាដូចគ្នាវាខុសគ្នាឬក៏វាបាទប្រហាក់ប្រហែលគ្នាឧទាហរណ៍ណាបាទអញ្ចឹងយើងត្រូវយកវាមកប្រៀបធៀបយកវាមកធ្វើការផ្គូផ្គងគ្នាបាទហើយយើងធ្វើការបកស្រាយមកអញ្ចឹង cross tabulation នេះបានថាតកតងទៅនឹងអ្វីដែលយើងបានសិក្សាបានធ្វើការប្រៀបធៀបហ្នឹងហើយវាមានរូបភាពបែបម៉េចបណ្ដាពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងវា consistent តែពេលតែ consistent វាដូចគ្នាតែបើវា inconsistent វាអត់ដូចគ្នាអញ្ចឹងណាបាទហើយយើងលើកមូលហេតុមកចឹងនេះគាត់ជាផ្នែកមួយដែលយើងយកវាមកធ្វើការប្រៀបធៀបរវាងតំណែងរវាង finding របស់យើងហ្នឹងទៅនឹង finding ដែលបានរកសិក្សារួចហើយហ្នឹងបាទហើយធ្វើការបកស្រាយមកណាបើដូចមូលហេតុអីបើមិនដូចមូលហេតុអីបាទចំណុចហ្នឹងមានតែប៉ុណ្្នឹងអ្នកគ្រូវិជ្ជាណាបាទ hope it can answer your question right
Yeah, teacher, thank you so much.
You're welcome តោះមានអីផ្សេងទៀតលោកគ្រូ
Teacher តើតើមួយទៀតពេលដែលលើពាក្យពេលខ្លះលើនិយាយថា thesis ពេលខ្លះឬ research report ពេលខ្លះអីខ្ញុំមានអារម្មណ៍ថាដូចនេះ teacher ដូចមិនដឹងថាមួយណាមិនចឹងដូចយើងពាក់ព័ន្ធគ្នាមិនច្បាស់ teacher
អូខេបាទបាទ
លោកគ្រូជួយ clarify កន្លែងនេះខ្ញុំរៀនដូចឆ្ងល់កន្លែងចាអរគុណលោកគ្រូ
ខ្ញុំនឹងបង្ហាញនៅលើ website តែម្ដងស្អាតគេបានប្រៀបធៀបដែរណាបាទយ៉ាងឯងមើលលើនេះណាបាទនេះ thesis នេះ research report អញ្ចឹង thesis is a long academic paper that typically serve as the final project for university degree នេះ research report is a type of academic writing that involve research, source evaluation, critical thinking, organization, and composition. Yeah, we can say a bit and slightly different here. What else? This is usually the final project. Student may be required to write research paper for assignment and homework only. So that's why we can say like it is smaller than thesis in here. Tend to be longer than a research paper and take more time. Shorter and task less time. Written under the supervision of an academic supervisor, usually not written under supervision. There can be your own, right? This one written under the supervision of a student have to complete a thesis in order to complete student write research to expand their knowledge. So something So you got what does it mean here?
Yeah, teacher. Teacher អញ្ចឹងresearch report និង research paper តែមួយទេ teacher អញ្ចឹង
យើងអាចនិយាយថា research report ហើយនិង research paper ហ្នឹងវាអាស្រ័យនៅលើការ define របស់គេដែរបើ research paper គឺគេអាចសម្រាប់លើ research journal ឬក៏ research អីចឹងណាបាទ research report ហ្នឹងក៏ដូចគ្នាដែរក៏តាមលក្ខណៈថាគាត់ធ្វើទៅរៀងខ្លីសាមញ្ញប៉ុន្តែជា assignment អីចឹងដែរជា project ចឹងហើយបាននៅយើងនេះយើងចាប់ទៅយើងត្រូវមានប្រឡង state exam មួយទៀតប៉ុន្តែវាផ្នែកនេះហ្នឹងវាអត់ធំដុំអីទេអញ្ចឹងណាបាទបើសិនជាគេធ្វើនេះតែម្ដងថាគេតម្រូវឲ្យអីតម្រូវឲ្យធ្វើតា CC ឲ្យគាត់ចាប់បានតែម្ដងអញ្ចឹងណាបាទអានេះផ្នែកមានចាំបាច់មានប្រឡងដល់ទេហ្នឹង បាទតោះហ្នឹងគឺវិជ្ជាដែរ
ចា
បាទក៏ចេះយើងសរសេរកាលណាបើយើងធ្វើយើងសុទ្ធតែពីរហ្នឹងមួយណាល្អជាងវាស្រួលធ្វើ research report ស្រួលធ្វើប៉ុន្តែបើនិយាយពីគុណសម្បត្តិរបស់វាអត់សូវមានគុណសម្បត្តិអីសម្រាប់ទេប៉ុន្តែបើសិនជាយើងចង់ចាប់ master ទៅចូលរៀនទៅដល់ PhD ចឹងគេ recommend ឲ្យយើងធ្វើ decision ជាងអញ្ចឹងណាដោយសារយើងអាចនិយាយបានថានៅសាកលវិទ្យាល័យខ្លះគេតម្រូវឲ្យយើងមាន thesis ទើបអាចតយក PhD បានតែបើយើងមានតែ research report អាហ្នឹងវានៅកម្រិតមួយដែលគេពិចារណាអញ្ចឹងណាបើសូម្បីតែនៅ NAE ហ្នឹងបាទអ្នកដែលចូលរៀន PhD បានក៏ត្រូវតែមានជាមាន thesis report មាន thesis ទើបអាចចូលរៀនបានណាបើ research report វាអត់បានទេนั่นคือគុណសម្បត្តិនិងគុណវិបត្តិរបស់វាតែក៏បើនិយាយពីទំហំនៃការស្រួលធ្វើគឺ research report ហ្នឹងវាស្រួលធ្វើជាងបាទចឹង
ទាំងពីរហ្នឹងចឹង session ហ្នឹងវារៀងវែងជាងមែនអត់ទេចា
បាទវែងជាងវាធ្វើវែងឆ្ងាយច្រើនជាងចឹងហើយបាននៅក្នុងហ្នឹងបានថា research report អត់មាន supervisor ក៏យើងធ្វើបានដែរយើងអាច complete បានវាជាផ្នែកមួយនៃ project តូចមួយចឹងណាបាទតែគាត់ថានៅក្នុងសាកលវិទ្យាល័យយើងដោយសារវាអាចថាវាមានដែនកំណត់មួយគេកំណត់ឲ្យយើងធ្វើតែ research report ហ្នឹងទៅហើយយើងប្រឡង state ចេញនៅភូមិន្ទមុនគេមានដែរមាន thesis ហើយនៅ research report យើងអាចធ្វើជា test review ក៏បានយើងគ្រាន់តែអានអត្ថបទហើយយើងសំយោគយកក៏បានដែរយើងអាចចាំបាច់ចុះទៅ field ក៏បានយើងអាច review book chapter មកហើយយើង conclude មាន conclusion យកមកតែម្ដងបាទប៉ុន្តែគ្រាន់តែអ្នកដែលគាត់ធ្វើអត់អាចធ្វើ CC បានបន្ទុកបណ្ដាអ្នកបន្ទុកអត់ទៀតហើយគាត់អាចធ្វើជា research report នឹងបានលុះត្រាតែបញ្ហាគាត់ត្រូវធ្វើមួយទៀតគាត់ត្រូវរៀន coursework 2 course ទៅទៀតយើងមកណាខុសគេ2 course ផ្សេងហើយគាត់ចូលបណ្ដឹងបាទអ្នកតែគាត់អ្នកគេធ្វើ thesis គាត់អត់ចាំបាច់បន្ថែម course ទេប៉ុន្តែគាត់រៀនបានតែត្រឹម3 term អីចឹង term ទី4ហ្នឹងគេឲ្យគាត់ធ្វើ thesis តែម្ដងអញ្ចឹងណាបាទអង្គុយទៅសេបាទហ្នឹងជាគុណសម្បត្តិមួយរបស់ thesis តែក៏វាហត់តែវាធំដោយសារវាធំចឹងធ្វើទៅហត់
ចា
បាទតែក៏មិនអីហ្នឹងបើយើងជាយើងធ្វើchứណាបើ research report នេះបើគ្នាយើងចាប់ទៅយើងនៅតែបន្តធ្វើយើងអត់ចាំបាច់ suffer ដោយជំនាន់ទី5ទេយើងជំនាន់ទី6នេះអាចនឹងចាប់តនពេលអញ្ចឹងអាចព្យាយាម develop បន្តណាបាទគឺដូចខ្ញុំសួរខាងដើមថាតើយើងមានផែនការកម្រោងធ្វើខ្លះបន្តពីហ្នឹងទៅបាទអញ្ចឹងបើយើងនៅតែបន្តអានបន្តធ្វើបន្តផ្សាយអត្ថបទហ្នឹងតទៅដូចនៅក្នុង guideline ទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងពី unit 1ដល់ unit 17 នេះវាមានគ្រប់គ្រាន់សម្រាប់យើងក្នុងការធ្វើអញ្ចឹងណាបាទនឹងអាចបន្តធ្វើហើយអាចបន្តទៅចែកជាមួយខ្ញុំក៏បានដែរបើករណីថាយើង commit នៃការទៅបាទយើងអាចទៅចែកបណ្ដាមកដល់ពេលយើងរៀនចប់ term ចុងក្រោយនេះយើងចាប់ report ដែរហ្មងអញ្ចឹងចាប់ទៅយើងចាប់ទាំងព្រមអត់មាន suffer ទេតែបើយើងទុករងចាំដល់ចុងក្រោយ dương chọc tới thấy anh nơi toàn đang bêu vào đang thiên bật này đã bài
flash là rồi rồi
bà nó slideซึ่งจำนวนที่พร้อมยังใครใดใครชื่อว่าเราจะจำนวนหนึ่งที่ยังไอต่อตัวเตี้ยจึงขนมลักษณะในยัง scaffolding นงเพื่อเป็นซับโน้ตนี่คือลักษณะว่าคือไกด์ในยังยังบานสโลว์คัพที่ประเทศมัดโจมเซสิ่งนั้นvà vì sao người ta add am tí tới chập research proposal này chẳng á mà còn time thì nó chập này và đôi cái lại statement of problem như thế là zero problem sân máu và trong bài miền citation này từ rồi về chập tới những ai xoay đồ citation một time nó những ai bắt đầu khơi tới ban chập tới như nhỉ và nên mình riêng không trắng riêng hot mến đấy riêng phơi tới riêng ban chập lươn tại và ở tí riêng chập tới nơi nghe ngắn như thời trình này về mà càng thiệt nhỉ và nên là chụp này mùi
พวก line objective of start ดีนั่นแกกำหนดdương đã ประมาณมวยบ้านเอาไปเฉย
đã muốiแต่ว่าไอ้บ้านปีด้วยนะปีด้วยถึงปีก็มอยดอจานไปก่อนnhư này về thôn nó này
chào bà muối về đi chơi này
bà muối nó có bán được cái này thay vì thôn mình nạp á bị big nạp tại vì ai mua scope vềแต่ว่าไอ้บ้านปีด้วยถึงปีด้วยvà nơi để xây thầm nênจะล็อกปีเปิดดับตัว30 พอปนังสัญญาใส่ขนมนะปนังยังไงจับมาในว่าพี่คนที่รีไซรีพอร์ตซึ่งเนี่ยได้ปะต้อเนี่ยได้มีคอมมิตมันปะต้อจับปีคอของเต้เหมือนจับคอของจับนะจับคอของเจอปะต้อที่và từ bây miền số bài sớm mới còn những chi tiết tham mình miền này đâu trở nạn này vậy đó mà chẳng ai nhìn thấy dừng chọc toàn vềเลยvà thầy thưa về tạo về tật nào thế tạo tình bông mà từ rồi đi cái đào xịt đào thế bà là vô là từ xịt bàn chẳng ấy và là cụ xén như thế mà cụ miền muối là cụ xén giúp anh đi cầm sớm
là cô nhung nên chùm ngõ môi xin nói là cô
ban trình rồi bạn
đời sao môn nó hiện đang tính up mass đáp lực cũ toàn ta lại thoáng à cô dạy pi research paper nó research thi sĩ chả pi nó là về bà không nên mấy chờ pi nắng của nhưng tay ta chọn lọ mặc pi nắng
ok và
bà đọc
bà này cô chỉ đã ai đi pit ban đấy nữa người bây giờ đã ai thì giờ người mới xa mà nhỉ không nên mấy pi nắng
chào cô
và
em nhom nhai cho nông năng mắng con vơ luôn nãy luôn nhom thọt mình đã
bà lực mới xa mang kênh đi phiêu không nên được viên session này research report research paper này bà research paper thì có research report nó đôi tậpนี้ได้ยินอยู่trong tới vì lùm nôm chân người ta và session là how we wait hay vì vừa tới vì là chi final project xong đẹp cả graduate để dẫn đó và tại research report vì chỉ một page academic writing đấy còn tại vì involve research nên xong đẹp cả evaluation soft mà là vì ai ta chỉ dương author promote đấy thì dương ai and suppose hay dương quote từ máu dương vô vì máu việc keep việc slide đến research question nào muối hay dương vừa ca sử dụng vô thành đó chẳng và ai là cái này chẳng hay dương từ nó vì riêng clay chiến thesis và which you final project any student may require to write research paper for assignment or homework và chẳng hay ban nơi có chỉ lại dương ní cái dương thời cả miền study là một tiết về mà chỉ final project mùi chọc ấy nhé và I tend to be longer than a research paper and take more time shorter and take less time và anh ấy miền supervisor anh ấy up miền supervisor cái phần này chẳng hay ban nhưng mà theo cái gì thà ba còn bay rong trăm to miền supervisor phương vi sân tây bây giờ miền supervisor máu giờ còn là phương thì tôi tới giờ ai chọc này supervisor còn mình cài cho này thì tầm đó nè but students have to complete a thesis in order to complete their degree mà chẳng complete thesis tầm bay chọc cả có sàn anh ấy cứ student write research paper to expand their knowledge chẳng ai complete knowledge ban từ dừng chập tới dừng ai được say research report được có journal lấy ban như là trong mai tôi say chứ bà journal lấy chúng ta khi tôi say thằng đọc tập po khi đọc tập po cái đọc po thì say tới chập hay nè của mình trên toàn á của mình sẽ
ba là câu toàn
bà dừng tôi say dừng lo cho nên mình hay bị chỉ project một để thống dừng ai to vô PhD cái through lại rồi có through project on camera chỉ muốn cái trong man decision trên say report về clay tu cái project này mà dừng giống thằng chia sang mình muối nữa và thì còn này dưới này thì thông đồng này trên ở ngoài đại thứ bán dừng chọn bị khó hình tế và xong vào to develop the research concept note dưới này mau chi research proposal thôi anh bán ai cũng một tuần đấy để say và đào chuyện ai thứ vì step by step bit by bit tới chuyện ai thứ ba này chẳng hay cùng ai vì mình cùng rong chạm đâu đó dừng miền sụp bài sẽ dừng từ xe về đá tới sụp bài sau đó hoặc mình từ check in chờ đi chẳng ấy và chẳng hay bà này chỉ không khó đấy nhưng expect vì chỉ scaffolding là sao dừng riêng chapter by chapter dừng link máu thì sẽ report này chừng chọc tới bà là cụ từng học với ai nhấn chọc cái đến bàn toàn quyền cái mà nhầm hiền để tha lực lượng cost ní vì chỉ scaffolding với đại chui là cụ này rú ai và to thời bị chọc thành bàn chính cần sắp nốt nó chia so mà tập pause gặp cost ní và hai và to add up tích nó vì nên khai thì chia research proposal mua sinh đẹp phải chọc là điềuประมาณkhai cả một rồi vàประมาณthêm cả một lần hai nhé chân chọc tới bắt đầu thì nhìn thấy nó nhưng ai ta lẽ xa xu nằm group nắng của bà này nhưng làm chi chui slide khạc lại và hay cho mời bà xin nhập hai số bài xây dựng ai đặt slide bán tại đăng số bài sơ môn chẳng á bà ai đăng